I 25 female have an issue with my 26 male partner unfollowing oldschool friends off my socials. It is only ever the males that I previously went to school with or had met prior to meeting my current partner back in 2017. Recently I've noticed over the past few months that friends I've had for a long time on my socials had been removed or blocked. When I brought it up to my 26 male partner, he exploded and said he cannot understand why I need them on my socials even if it's just following along with their lives as I do any other random influencer I choose to follow. That if I keep them or choose to follow them again, it's proving my inability to be loyal to him. Can someone help me understand if this is controlling behavior or not? I've not engaged with any of the people he has removed in years or more, but a few of them I enjoy watching them in their careers, life, as those topics interest me. Sounds like he shouldn't have access to your social media if he's going to be doing shit like that. It's definitely controlling behavior. He needs to fix his own issues. Why does he have access to your socials? What does he say when you bring this up? Can someone help me understand if this is controlling behavior or not? Yes, very. Firstly, him having access to your social media is a pretty massive red flag in and of itself. Him then using that access to remove people he doesn't think you should have access to is an even bigger one. Then accusing you of inability to be loyal to him just for keeping old school friends on your social media is an absolutely giant red flag. None of this is normal behavior. This is absolutely abusive behavior on his part. Yes, this is highly controlling. Don't let him get away with this, or he will keep getting more and more controlling. The flag is red, red, red. The relationship is dead, dead, dead. He's manipulative, untrustworthy and cruel. Can't trust him to throw him a great golden rule. So go separate ways. And in a few days. In the end, a caboose. It was all just abuse. There. I made that up. And it's pretty accurate. What the fuck he doing just trashing through your social media? Can say you don't like it. But to go behind your back and do things for you. That's a great big get out of my house no. My, M34, wife, F27, babies, me after sobriety and I hate it. Sorry for the baby word, I didn't know a better way to say it. My wife is great and she's been there with me through the severe up and downs. I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'll be 10 months sober tomorrow, woo. She's supported me during this journey and has been my rock through all these years, so this post is not trying to be negative towards her, but I can't get over the way she treated me last night. We were out at a party and everyone there was drinking. This was also my first big party since getting sober. In my circle, all of them were drinking while I had a Diet Coke. I know how to have fun without drinking, so I matched their energy in a way because most of the guys were drunk. It was going well, but then my wife came over and questioned what was I drinking. I told her a Diet Coke and then she sniffed and tasted my drink. I don't want to say I felt disrespected because there's a better word for what I felt, but it just didn't sit right with me. It's not the first time she's done something along these lines, but it was the first time that she did it in a public setting. I really don't like it. Advice? I think we can all logically understand why you're upset, and we can't suggest you're crazy for feeling that way. But on the other end, you were at your first big party since being sober, and your wife needed confirmation that all was good. Can you logically blame her? 10 months is huge? We can't discount that, nor should you. But this is after a lifetime of alcoholism, and a future lifetime of working toward sobriety. You can talk to her about it, but it's probably unfair to hold a grudge over it. Firstly, congratulations on your sobriety. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I think the only advice here is that you have to be understanding. Every action has a consequence. Your wife having residual trust issues is one of the consequences of your actions. She is likely processing the trauma of your alcoholism internally, and it is not out of line for her to worry and check in. Now, if you did not appreciate her approach, tell her so. Explain why. Then work together to develop a system that supports you both. I would suggest therapy if you are not already going. Best of luck and congratulations again. This was also my first big party since getting sober. So understandably your rock and support had cause to be wary. So I matched their energy in a way because most of the guys were drunk. So you acted drunk. It was going well, but then my wife came over and questioned what was I drinking. I told her a Diet Coke and then she sniffed and tasted my drink. Because you acting drunk around a bunch of alcohol at your first big party since getting sober? Advice? Don't match the energy of drunk people if you don't want your rock and support worried over your sobriety. Honestly, I can understand why your wife is acting like that. Your alcoholism probably hurt her quite a bit and she has every right to be worried. Alcoholism comes with a lot of pain, broken promises, etc. If you want her to stick with you through everything, you can't expect her to just blindly support you. What was the worst thing you did as an alcoholic? I feel it's kinda weird you did not write anything about what your actions towards your wife were during your worst, so that we feel more inclined to side with you in this story. How to heal my M24 relationship with my fiancé, F23, after telling her to STFU. I stood up to make coffee. My fiancé said, "Let me put in vanilla." I said no. She said, "Let me put caramel." I said no, I don't want anything. "Let me put in sugar." I said, "No, I don't want anything." She then says, "You just had a Toblerone, that's sugar. Why can't you have sugar?" And I said, "I don't want anything in my coffee." She then tried to take over making it and grabbed the milk from my hands. Then I said, "I want to make my own coffee," and then I had to talk her into giving it back, and she then came from behind to hold my arm to guide the milk in the cup. I was pretty irritated at this point, and then I said, "Let me make my own coffee." Then she went to sit at the table and I said, "I'm going to sit on the couch." She said, "You don't have to ask me for permission," in a laughing way. I was being polite, saying I'm not going to sit at the table with her. Then I told her, in a tone that sounds like an angry child, where I was nearly at my breaking point, to back off and just let me be. She usually makes fun of my voice when it's like this and calls it like a child's voice. This voice only comes out when I get pushed by her over a certain point. I quoted her before she said that, what she normally says about my voice, and said, "Why are you using that baby voice?" and laughed like she does at me. She laughed at my prediction of what she said, and then I said rather harshly, like, "Why do you do that? Why can't you just shut the fuck up?" to her. Then she processed it and got all stern and said, "You know I've said if you ever say that again we are going to have problems." I said I am sorry and explained she went over my boundaries of saying no and pushed me over the edge, as she has done before. Then she switched it on me saying we have a problem now, and I went over her boundaries. Which I did and I apologized for. I've told her in the past I wouldn't say that again and mean it, but I get worked up and feel like I'm in fight or flight when I say it. She then explains to me how she hasn't said anything about reality being a game, simulation or not real. She knows this bothers me. Or how she hasn't mocked me like she used to. She used to repeat and mock me a lot. After I asked her to never do that again. I said I know. She then said I continue to say that phrase even though she's asked me to stop, and I apologized again. She said she is going shopping. Then told the dog, "You can stay here with him," and left. Am I the asshole? Too long did not read. I have boundaries that are continually crossed to the point where I get overstimulated and angry. I have communicated this a lot. I lash out and then feel blamed for irrational emotion. I try to communicate beforehand and explain how I feel, but I keep getting pushed to a point where I say mean things to get her to stop talking to me. It's almost peaceful afterward I say something. I know I'm in the wrong for what I said, but I feel manipulated a lot. I feel like a shell of who I once was before I met my partner. I have a hard time saying no to her as it is, so I'm trying to be more assertive for myself. Jesus Christ, this person is awful. She treats you like crap and makes you horribly unhappy. Get out and cut her out of your life. Or keep letting her manipulate you and be unhappy forever, if you prefer. I want to tell her to STFU and I wasn't even there. You guys have serious issues that need to be fixed before marriage, otherwise it's looking like it might be early divorce. The way you described your relationship in your Too Long Did Not Read is how people who are in abusive relationships describe theirs. Which yours does seem like it could be, even if unintentional. Instead of STFU, tell her to GTFO. End this shit. Do you really want to spend your life like this? Like if this was your normal, would you be happy? 27 male just found out that 27 male's ex never really dated him. I've been dating my boyfriend for about 8 months. When we first met, he was in an open relationship. When we started to talk, his explanation was fairly simple. When he and ex were single, they were a couple. When they weren't, they would break up to allow the other person to date. For the last 8 months, I felt hugely insecure about this. The friend in question has always been close to my boyfriend in a way that made me uncomfortable. My boyfriend implied on numerous occasions that they used to hook up, but no longer do. Obviously I took this as a red flag, but there were enough green flags to continue. Fast forward. We've had discussions about being open in certain situations. For example, extended travel, which happens to both of us. I mentioned the one person who would make me insecure for him to hook up with would be his ex, since they used to have sex and were clearly so close. He says he understands, and wouldn't allow that to happen. Fast forward to tonight. The ex and I are getting a rare moment together. I decided to mention, I know you used to hook up, but I appreciate how nice you've been. He starts to laugh. He reveals my boyfriend and him never hooked up. He's straight as an arrow. My boyfriend has known for months how insecure this relationship made me, and has apparently gone to great lengths to ensure I thought he and this guy were exes. I've spent the last 8 months feeling jealous, insecure, while talking to my boyfriend honestly about how I felt, and he never once bothered to allay my concerns with a simple, by the way, we're not really exes. I feel extremely betrayed. I feel like I've lived my last 8 months in a relatively constant state of uncertainty and doubt because of it. Then to hear it, really never happened. I just couldn't find a good time to tell you. I feel awful. And so angry. He dropped me off a few minutes ago. I made a point to say I didn't want to break up at this point. But I also have rarely felt so lied to. Thoughts? Run ma dude, run. Run. He purposely wanted you to feel jealous, insecure and hurt. This is not acceptable in any human being, let alone your BF. If you decide you want to continue this relationship, I'd want to get some clarity on why he told you this stupid fucking lie. Assuming friend is being legit, they could be the one lying, yeah. That's breakup material right there. There is only 2 reasons for boyfriend to lie. Insecure, so they make something up to feel less pathetic, actively trying to make you jealous. Anyway, it's manipulative at best. And it doesn't sound like they felt guilty enough to even try to alleviate your fears. He did it to retain the powerful upper hand and have you off balance. He has no intention of being in a relationship of equals.